Hey everyone, Ryan here from the Northern Villa on a cold, chilly day, snows on the ground. Today's episode, Scott and I are going to talk about some creative decision-making choices regarding a couple projects we've recently worked on or are currently working on. We try not to talk about the new Star Wars movie, but we do talk about it a little bit, but I don't think there's any spoilers in there. Quick follow-up on our 2020 goals. Some Batman and Superman talk regarding comic book artwork or making comics, I suppose. And there's a segment at the beginning when I'm talking about the beer that I'm drinking where I had a brain fart regarding my brother's Instagram account. My brother's integral to the story. So if you listen, you'll know. So I just want to give a shout out to Stash Factory on Instagram. STACHE Factory. On Instagram, it's my brother's Instagram handle. He's an artist as well, so please hop over there, follow him, and please enjoy this week's show. I think it's a fun one.
Welcome to another episode of the Illustrious Gentlemen, the place where comic book artists and top blokes Scott Godlewski and Ryan Cody talk about life, work, comics, and booze. Follow the show on Twitter at TIG_show and online at www.tigshow.com. TIGSHOW.com. Don't forget to let us know what you're drinking while you're listening to the show. Go on yourself, big man.
I'm just curious why it was shelved.
Well, I think it's supposed to be bad, but I assume they spent the last year like re-editing it, right? Like they probably did a shitload of re-editing. You can't really do a lot of refilming because all those actors are probably look totally different now.
I mean the Stranger Things kid, was popular when the show came out 3 years ago. So why not cash in on that little thing?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really know the reason. It must have just tested so poorly that... I mean, I think what they were trying to do is something different than the X-Men movies and make it like a horror movie, but what's the point of making it...
Yeah, Josh Trank was trying to
What's the point of making a New Mutants movie if you're not going to call them... Like, if they're not going to be at Xavier's school, if you're not using code names... Like, I'll guarantee there's not a code name used in this movie. It's all going to be first names.
To be fair, I think... they've succeeded in doing with the movie franchise kind of what the comics have done. Like they're just all over the place. They just throw shit at the wall. I mean, the first X-Men movie was just like standard superhero movie. X2, was whatever. I guess their Empire Strikes Back is arguably the best one. Yeah. Then they went backwards and they did a time travel one. Then they did First Class and
they're just
Logan.
There's no cohesiveness.
They're all over the place. So I admire that at least. Like I applaud them for just doing something different.
Right. Yeah. I mean, they have set a tone to where they can make a movie like this, and it doesn't have to follow continuity. But I mean, were people clamoring for a horror version of the X-Men that doesn't have the X-Men in it? Was this something people wanted? I know why they did it, because it's probably lower budget. It's a way to make it lower budget.
4?
I don't know. This isn't direct to DVD. This is
neither
this is
Trolls
20th Century
4.
Fox. Right. Yeah, Trolls 4 got a wide release.
I mean,
for award season. It had to come out in theaters to be eligible for awards.
I don't know. It seems kind of... It's neat. It's like the Joker movie. I think it's neat. I have no interest in it. I still haven't seen Joker. I don't give a fuck. I don't want to see New Mutants. But, I want to give somebody a high five for at least doing something different.
Yeah. Sure. They're making an effort.
Somebody is.
As opposed to just following a formula.
It's terrible, and then nobody gave an effort.
Right. Well, they all did their best. That's my new thing. Another new thing this year, and a year of me trying new things, is stop being shitty about stuff that people are earnestly trying.
Yes.
To make good.
I agree. Nobody sets out to make bad stuff.
Right. I mean, bad stuff gets made for sure, and people are dummies, but their heart's in it. They're trying.
Yeah.
But it goes back to the like everyone gets a medal kind of thing. Like, yeah, they're trying, but
If you had fun, you
yeah,
won.
just look, we're not keeping count, score. I'm personally gonna try to follow the if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at
that's
all.
good.
And I think the end of that trailer where when her arm armors up and the soul sword comes out is kind of cool. I don't know a lot about Ilyana Rasputin or magic, but sure.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm curious to see what people say about it. I mean, I don't have any interest in seeing it, but yeah, whatever.
Unless Sunspot is a bratty Brazilian who's a son of a millionaire, I don't give a fuck.
Oh, but if he is, then you're in.
Yeah, because that's my Sunspot. That's my Bobby
Nobody's
DaCosta.
ever said that. That's my Sunspot. Like I want you to say that out loud in the theater when he comes on and says something like, "That's my Sunspot."
Yeah, when he shows up on screen, I'll just get up and shout, "Bobby!"
You'd be
Okay.
yay!
Yay!
Finally, Sunspot done right.
Finally, something that people earnestly try at, and it should be clapped for. Applause should have applause. It's episode 150.
Oh my God.
150 of the Illustrious Gentlemen. I think we're in England to have a very special guest on this episode, and then I think his people listened to an episode, and then they stopped emailing me. So it's just going to be me and you today. You can follow the show on Twitter and Instagram at TIG_show. All the past episodes are available at anchor.fm/TigShow or any of those big-ass podcatcher sites like Spotify, Stitcher, Apple Podcasts, Google Play Podcasts. If you enjoy the show, leave us a review, tell your friends, support the show at patreon.com/TigShow. Or go to tigshow.com, click on the links, find out where you can buy some merch and shit. Patreon backers get some cool stuff.
That's why I don't listen to the show. I wouldn't come on again.
You were holding that in too. Good one. I had some more shower thoughts today regarding the Patreon, and I was thinking to myself in the shower. First of all, I was really proud of myself. You know how you get all the slivers of soap in the shower, and they're just there?
Oh, yeah, the bar
in my
soap.
shower, they just sit there. Yeah, the bar soap, and they get a little like concave. They kind of they become like like shells, right? So I keep hitting this thing. I successfully was able to put two shell pieces together and form one new slither of soap that has both convex pieces on the outside. So it created like a shell.
Wow.
I was pretty proud of myself. But more importantly, I was thinking, why would anyone be a Patreon supporter of Tig Show? Because they don't really get anything other than the satisfaction of supporting us. But we don't really offer any exclusives. So I was like, what could I do? What can I do? What can I do? So then I figured it out. So going forward, if you're a $1 backer of the Patreon, anytime I do a commission drive or new Tig Show merch comes out, you're going to get 20% off either the commission or the merch. And if you're a $5 a month backer, you'll get 50% off commissions because I like to work for almost free. And these are my commissions, Ryan's commissions. And any Tig Show merch you get will be wholesale if you're a $5 a month backer. And if you back at a different amount, there's a couple people who back at odd amounts, then that'll be like a case-by-case basis. Only valid when I post that I'm looking for new commissions or when I'm posting that we have new merch. So not valid on the old merch that's up at the Threadless shop or whatever, but I want to get new merch out there, new shirts, shit like that, whatever. It's fun. I need new shirts, so it's like, might as well get new shirts for myself.
Yeah, cool, man. I was kind of thinking about that too. Like, I don't do anything. Maybe I don't know. I don't really post on social media though, so maybe I'll put stuff there on the Patreon page.
Maybe. I'll have to find the email. I'm sure I sent you the password and login one time.
Oh yeah,
a couple of
sure
years
I
ago.
deleted it.
Sure you did. Much like all my emails.
I retitled my spam folder the Ryan folder.
Drink it down in one breath.
Drink. On to business. What are you drinking today, my friend?
Oh, I did. Yeah, I got something. I've got Dogfish Head Midas Touch Ancient Ale.
Ooh, I've never even heard of that.
Somewhere between wine and mead, our original ancient ale is made with ingredients found in 2,700-year-old drinking vessels in the tomb of King Midas. Barley, honey, white muscat, grapes, and saffron.
It's paleo.
Yeah, literally.
Do it. Oh, my favorite part. Yeah, I mean, I know Doghead Fish Brewing, but I didn't know that. I've never heard of that beer before.
All right. It's a decent color.
Yeah.
It's,
Big head.
It's golden. Yeah, big head. It's got a sour. Like if I just nosed it, I would think, oh, this is totally a sour. We shall see. It's 9% too.
Ooh, I like that.
So it's no slouch.
That is the Midas touch. All right, did you do any beer advocate for that? Or no?
I didn't.
Okay, that's fine.
Maybe I'll do it for
I have
Patreon.
I have something shameful to admit is when I bumped our recording time back by a half hour, part of it was to eat my delicious, healthy lunch. And then part of it was to drink. I only have 2 beers in the fridge, the show beer and 1 extra. But I wanted to have at least 1 beer before we started recording. So I did drink that Uncle Bear's peanut butter, the Barclays peanut butter porter.
Oh boy.
And I didn't think it was nearly as bad as you did.
Oh my God.
I
can
drank it
taste the artificial crab in my mouth right now.
I drank it in like 20 minutes and I thought it was fine. I'm probably going to give it like a 3.5 on Untapped.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, I know. I'm so ashamed of myself because I had it in the fridge for the last month because you had such a reaction to it. I thought it would give me a disease if I had it, but it's all I had. Unless I'm going to be hitting some bottom shelf liquor, which it's too early in the week to do that. Okay, so my beer today, kind of a special beer. Traveled a little bit. This beer was sent. Oh shit. I asked my brother for the information and I didn't put it in my notes. Hang on 1 second, everybody, while I check my texts on my telephone. Humble brag. Okay, so this beer was sent to my brother. I think my brother sent some guy on Instagram some beer, and this guy sent him some beer. So Anthony Aparicio, at Wanderer Forever on Instagram, sent this beer to my brother, who I don't have his Instagram handle. I want to say it's D-Cody something, but I'll put it in the show notes. Sorry, Derek. Maybe it's Punkabilly Cody. I don't know. Whatever. I'll put it in the show notes. I'm rambling at this point. So he sent this beer. So thanks, Anthony. Thanks to my brother. It is Casa Agria Specialty Ales from Oxnard, California. And it's called Slammin' at the Club Clean Cut American Lager. And it's like
no.
They say that they brewed it with like former members of punk bands from the Oxnard scene.
Like they're in the beer?
Yes. So, brewed in collaboration.
With real bits of punk rockers.
Yeah, and then it's got all these it's got all the names of the bands and stuff on the can. It's kind of neat.
All right.
American. I don't recognize it. Yeah, I don't recognize any of the bands, but it's just because I've never lived in Oxnard or the Oxnard adjacent area. But yeah, it's a clean cut American lager. It's only 4.5%. There's there's 1 Beer Advocate rating, no reviews, and then everything on Untapped just said clean. So
so it doesn't have bits of human in it.
Nope, I guess not. And so off the website that I found or whatever, Slammin' at the Club, clean cut American lager, brewed to commemorate the rich 30-year history of punk rock from Oxnard and neighboring lands. A clean cut American lager. One person on Untapped said it was a clean corn lager. So, and then one other person said tastes like corn. So I hope that's not the case.
Well,
I didn't bring a glass. I didn't bring a glass in here with me, but
bourbon's corn.
Yeah, it's got no odor, so absolutely nothing.
Well,
I could
it's
be
an American
sniffing
lager.
water. Yeah, I'm not even going to pour it into a glass because we all know it's just going to look like a Budweiser. Okay. So that's what I'm drinking. Thanks to those dudes, all the way from Oxnard. I have no idea where Oxnard is. I think it's like Barstow area, maybe like south of the bay, inland. Unfortunate name.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah. Okay.
Sounds like Oxnads.
So what I did, we haven't talked in we haven't talked for this program in like 2.5 weeks. So I did.
Rocky Mountain oysters.
I was putting our things from on the last episode. We talked about accountability goals for 2020. So I was throwing them into a Google Doc so I can make us feel bad in a couple months, and I'll bring them back up.
Oh yeah.
And then when I was doing that, I thought, why don't I create like a daily journal to hold myself accountable for like a daily whatever. So I put stuff on there like, how am I eating? Did I exercise? Mm-hmm. I have a line for work. And then I have a line for billable work. So like that way, maybe I didn't have anything to bill that day, but maybe I edited 2 podcasts, or I edited a podcast and whatever. I sent out 100 emails, shit like that.
Wow.
Whatever. That's an exaggeration.
You're like my hero and shit.
Yeah, so so it's kind of neat. I'm keeping up with it. It's kind of fun. I'm keeping up on like sleep. Like, how many hours did I sleep? Did I take a melatonin? Did I take a sleeping pill? What's my mood? How did I rate the day? That kind of shit. To just try to find out, like, look back at it every once in a while and be like, well, I've been feeling like shit. Is it sleep? Is it diet? Is it exercise? Is it money? It's always money.
It's very adult of you.
Yeah, we'll see how long. It's been 5 days, so we'll see how long it goes. But I wonder if I never had to worry about money, I bet I would always be happy and never be depressed. I'll never know. I mean, I'll never know. That's something that you can't solve that with a pill. But
true.
Short of me turning tricks, I'm never going to know the answer to that. And even turning tricks, I'll be struggling.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
You'd be worse off.
Yeah, it would be a struggle bus. Okay. So, anything else? I've been rambling.
Okay.
Anything else before we get into it?
Yeah.
I don't know. What are you doing? What have you been doing for 2 weeks?
Just sitting. I mean, the kids have been home for 2 weeks, so.
Yeah.
I had the Friday before the 2-week winter break, I got work, and it was due halfway through the second week of winter break. So I guess that's nice.
Yeah. You didn't have to
would
lie.
Have been nice, but
yeah, but at least you didn't have to lie to your kids and be like, "I'm working," when you're hiding in your office.
That's true.
Right. Yeah. You like to eat, don't you? That's a good one to throw out to your kids. Yeah. You got shoes, don't you?
They don't care about food as long as the Wi-Fi is still on, though.
Yeah. Yeah, I was throwing out to my kid the other day. I was like, well, what'd I say? I said, things have never been great for me financially, but I was like, but you guys have never gone hungry. You've always had clothes. You've never, we've never had the power shut off. Like, we never had bills really shut off, like whatever. And my kid looked at me. He's like, I have 1 pair of pants. And I'm like, that's a you problem, dude. Cause I know that between me and his mom and his stepmom, we bought him other pairs of pants. He just he just takes them off and they go in his closet somewhere and he never sees them. So he just wears the same pair.
He also has a job. Yeah.
That's visible. No, he had a job.
Oh,
he no longer has a job.
Okay.
This is where I'm a good parent. I'm like, his job is to get A's and B's and get a scholarship. That's his job, Scott.
That's true. I agree with that.
But he needs to
if
work
it were my
overtime,
kid,
make some money.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't care. Why would you care about my kids? I mean, I don't care about your kids.
Shit.
So no. I literally don't give a shit about anybody else's kids on the planet except my own. Maybe some nieces and nephews if it's a good day.
You write that down in your journal?
That's right. Thought of little Johnny today. Hope he's doing well. That's it. Yeah.
Don't put in writing that you ever thought about a little boy.
Wait, is it better or worse that I'm related to him? But not biologically, by marriage. So it's okay.
Oh, it's okay then.
Okay. Okay, so today I figured, unless you got something else that's burning a hole in your
no,
brain pan.
I mean, no. We both saw Star Wars over our time off.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm thinking we shouldn't do a show on it. I mean, we've done a lot of Star Wars recently.
Yeah,
And
Maybe we'll wait.
And it's all over the place, like everywhere. Every fucking article, every YouTube video is about Star Wars. So what can we?
Yeah, maybe we'll
to the noise.
Yeah, maybe like that time when we robbed the bank. We'll let the heat die down, and then we'll come out it in like a month or two, when everyone else is sick of it.
Right.
Yeah.
But that's been in my head, so I've been thinking about that movie a lot.
I think I'm gonna have to probably go see it again this weekend because my wife hasn't seen it yet. Yeah, I know. She's gonna pay for it this time. But yeah, it's funny because again, we're not gonna get into it, but people on my social media page that love Star Wars love that movie. People on my social media page who have any critical thought towards story or just basically story have the same issues with the movie I had with the movie. So it's like blinders on. And we talked about this on the Mondays with Mando, Mornings with the Mando show, is I don't know if there's any property that I have such blinders on that I will just let them force feed shit into my mouth like I'm one of those cows being like fed for slaughter. Like, I mean, I was watching some Harry Potter movies while I was working the other day, and I'm like, these aren't good. Like, if I only knew Harry Potter through the movies, I would not be a Harry Potter fan. Like, but people will just, I mean, they'll just sit there and they'll drink the what out of these Star Wars is giving them.
Yeah, I mean, my 12-year-old liked it.
Really?
Yeah, he's 12.
He's 12. He doesn't know anything.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like this is one of those movies where I hear a lot of people just say, like, it was fine, I guess.
Yeah.
At least it's entertaining. But if you legitimately liked it,
then
I don't know.
You'll like anything.
I don't think I want to talk to you. I don't want to know you.
Yeah, if you can't be critical about something you love, then what's the point? Don't you want the things you love? Don't you want the things you love to be the best? I love beer. I don't like bad beer. So it's like if I'm drinking a fucking Heineken, I'm not saying like, oh, at least it's beer and I love beer. Like, no, I'd rather drink fucking dishwater.
I don't know. Look, it wasn't good. I just find the whole thing so fascinating. Like I'm just consuming everything I can, just about anything about it. And I haven't rewatched Last Jedi since I saw Rise of Skywalker.
It's gonna be a lot better, I bet.
Want to?
Right.
Like I can't sit through that Casino Planet stuff. I can't do it. The slow speed, the space chases, I can't do. But I don't know. I feel like I owe Rian Johnson an apology. Like,
yeah, it's just
he was trying at least.
I heard this on a podcast. Not that I was listening to Star Wars podcast, but they were talking about it, and it's like they knew going into this shit in like 2012 or whatever, we're gonna make a new trilogy, and then it's like no one explained to them that all three movies should form together as a trilogy. Like these movies are so completely separate from one another. There's no storyline that follows through from beginning to end. There's no.
I thought about that coming out of the movie. I thought, oh, like if this were just a movie with Rey and Poe and Finn, and they had to fight a resurrected emperor, like just like a one-off, like Indiana Jones movie, it might not be that bad.
Right.
I could have just sat there and watched it and, not thought anything of it other than, oh, this is entertaining.
Yeah, I was I was also confused by just how little it had to do. I mean, say what you will about The Last Jedi, it ended with a definitive jumping off point, and they just, I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm an idiot. I assumed the last of the rebellion was on board the Millennium Falcon with no resources. And then this movie opens, they have a whole new base. Like, there's people running around, there's fucking more droids and shit. Like, no explanation, no 6 months later, it took us 6 months to build up our, resistance again. Nothing, just nothing. Let's go fucking to another desert planet again.
It's just, oh my God, it's fascinating. I love it so much.
It's like in the entire galaxy far, far away, you have planets that are ice and planets that are deserts and planets that are forests and some cities.
Yeah. The forest moon. It's like how do planets spin in the Star Wars universe? There's no caps. There's no.
Yeah, the whole planet is one thing.
Yeah, like Mars is all fucking rock and desert, right? But
yeah,
it's also like, 1,000 minus 1,000 degrees or something, and on the dark side or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Who cares?
I want some science in my science fiction.
We paid to
Somebody
see it,
tell me how the laser swords work.
Oh, I'm sure
I want
there's
a whole movie on the origin of the lightsaber.
Oh, it's coming. It'll probably be a Disney Plus series. All right, whatever. Let's move on.
5 seasons.
Yeah, the first season is just like the power cell. Yeah. Took forever to choose the right button because do you want a button that slides up and down or pushes in and out or flicks on and off? What kind of button do you want?
We tried this button. Then we had to send it back and wait for another button.
Yeah, that's a whole nother episode of them just sitting in the shop. We're waiting on the buttons. Waiting on the buttons to come in. Okay. All right, so we'll just take our break and then we'll get into the limited topic idea. I had 150 episodes in. Still struggling. This shit definitely has like a corn taste to it. It's bizarre.
Huh.
Is that I don't think that's a flavor profile I've ever noticed in a beer before. Yeah. Things change over time. All right, Scott. So I thought that maybe for the people who like the process stuff that we talk about, or people that actually listen to this podcast, because sometimes we talk about work or comics, I thought maybe we could talk about creative choices, creative decision making. So I put up a video to my personal YouTube page where I talked about these decisions I made on this page that I colored. It wasn't a tutorial. It was kind of like a thought process of what I was thinking and why I made certain decisions. And it got me thinking.
Tape.
That's right. Murder. And it got me thinking because I, along with, I assume, hundreds of thousands of others, picked up Detective Comics 1018 last week, 1018. And there's a new character in there. By the way, you drew that episode, or that issue. And there's a new character in that issue called Pagan. And I vaguely remember you telling me that this is a new character. You created this character? Co-created this character?
I drew it.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's the first appearance.
Yeah, it's the
first appearance of this character. Okay. So hopefully he shows up in some future like Batwoman episode or something and you get like a royalty check or something. That'd be sweet. Like a holiday episode of Batwoman.
We'll see.
Yeah. Oh, maybe you know things. Maybe he's the villain of the new Batman movie with sparkle eyes.
Shovel face.
Yeah. So so I guess I was thinking like I got two questions for you. The first one's about Pagan. How much direction were you given, and can you talk about the thought process that went into how you created the visual look of the character? Because he looks great. I mean, especially on that second page, the reveal.
Okay, sure. I don't remember specifically now, what the script said. The horns maybe were in the script. I don't know. Like Pete Tomasi, that is. I just call him Pete. So we're boys.
You guys can do that. That's right. That's right.
The only thing I remember is him saying he should look like a character that was created by Walt Simonson. So I did a little Google search because I'm a millennial, and who the fuck is Walt Simonson?
Yeah.
And yeah. So I tried to ape sort of it's like a simplistic busyness almost of his character design. There's a lot of in his stuff. There's a lot of. I mean, you can see a lot of Kirby in sort of the way he builds things.
Right.
But
Jack Kirby.
Right. I'm sorry, Jack. We're also boys.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whatever. Yeah. That's all. I just wanted him to look kind of oldish. Like,
But
yeah,
I mean, I'm sure there was a
Viking
description
stuff,
that
blah blah blah.
he's Viking, he's Norse. That was kind of your jumping off point, right? Not just
Yeah.
make him look like a Simonson drawing, because then he could look like
Well, yeah. So you just
Thor.
you marry those two things.
right.
But I did it all wrong, like I always do these sort of things. Is where you design it on the page, and that's always the worst way to do it because it's stressful, and then it locks you into
Right.
your worst idea.
So you didn't have to turn in like designs to the editors and get them approved and revised and stuff?
I turned in pencils, and that was the first time they saw him. And they really didn't have anything to say about it.
No, they were probably too busy like fawning over it, like running to the office next door, like look at this stuff Scott did, holding up the monitor because there's no paper, like
Yeah.
they're holding up their laptops, and then the other guy's like, Scott who?
It was
And they're
probably
like,
closer
"Oh."
to. He's so fucking far behind. Just do it. Just fucking do it.
Well, speaking of far behind, it's a Christmas two-parter that started in January 1st, so I don't know whose fault that was, but I thought that was funny. It's like maybe these issues should have come out in December. Just
Do they double
just a
ship?
get.
I don't know. Are they both coming
Yeah.
out this month?
They're both coming out this month, yeah. So we're just going to ignore the fact that the Christmas issues came out in January with probably like a March or April cover date. I don't know if they still do that, where the cover date is so many months in
right.
advance, but
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question.
so you didn't
Somebody
get
that
any.
reads comics. Let us know.
So you didn't get any notes on him. Like, was it your
No.
decision to make him so hulking and big? Like,
No, he was supposed to be a mountain of a man.
okay.
Yeah, you just exaggerate that garbage.
So you just took reference photos of yourself in your full size mirror.
I did. I trained for 6 months.
Yeah, that's why the book was late.
Yeah, just steak and eggs every morning.
Yeah, spoiler alert for people who haven't read the issue yet. First of all, you should all read the issue. But I was a little shocked at the violence in the first 2 pages. I mean, this is a all ages Batman book, and dude got an axe in his head.
Yeah, I don't know
Right?
that I would call it all ages. I think current Batman probably isn't. Right?
But I mean, I think it's supposed to be. It doesn't have any readers under the age of 30. But
So it's not supposed to be then because they're not there. They're reading other books. There
I
are
guess so.
other Batman books
Yeah.
for them.
yeah, I guess like Batgirl's not going to have a dude with a cleaver in his head,
Yeah. I mean
beaver or otherwise.
Yeah. I mean my 6-year-old isn't gonna go read Super Sons. He's gonna read Teen Titans.
Right.
The Cartoon Network Teen Titans, not
Yeah, I know.
Whatever.
All right, so if that was your idea, I'm trying to think of any other notes I had on that character other than I liked it. I like the fur.
thanks.
It does now that you bring up the Walt Simonson. It does look like a Walt Simonson like Ragnarok character. I think he's doing a book called Ragnarok right now with IDW, or he was. It kind of looks like that Norse thing, but yeah, it's cool. I like it. Hopefully, is this your first character you've created for DCU?
I had to sign something about a new character several months ago. I don't even remember the character's name or drawing this character. I think they probably appeared on a page of a Batgirl book that I was helping out with, so they might have sent it to the wrong person because I don't remember doing this at all. But
Well, didn't you?
too bad, because now those royalties are coming to moi.
That's right, Francis Manipool. Didn't you redesign when you did the redesign for the 2 bad guys in the Superman book you did,
Oh,
or the
right.
Superman annual? Did you have to sign anything creator thing for that?
No, I didn't. No, I mean, no. It's new. It's not new stuff, I guess. I don't know. I did have to get
Well,
those approved, though.
Yeah, well, I do know that there's a character in DCU. I don't want to name. I don't want to put anybody's business out there. Character in DCU where a certain artist's rendition of that character was used in a movie, and that artist is getting royalties,
cool.
even though he didn't create the character.
Oh, sweet.
He just created that version of the character.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Maybe you'll get some.
Yeah.
Maybe you'll take me out for a fancy dinner when you get your big royalty check.
Suicide Squad 3. We'll go to the Red Lobster.
And then I did have another question for you. Again, I like the look of that character. He's pretty cool. Shannon Denton and I were going to do a book a couple of years ago called The Cossack, about like a kind of that type of character, like a Hellboy ripoff, but he's a Cossack. And I did a couple pages, and Shannon and I couldn't really agree on the look of the character. Like, any character I draw that has a hat, I want the hat knocked off in the first punch, so I don't have to keep drawing the hat. And the Russian Cossacks, they wear those hats, like almost like a fez, like a furry fez.
Right.
And we just couldn't get past me not wanting the furry fez and Shannon wanting the furry fez. And he had a good point. He's like, well, it's a Cossack. He should wear the hat. And I'm like, but the hat looks stupid. Sorry to all the Cossack listeners we have in Siberia.
So you left the project over creative differences?
That's right, creative differences. And I did, I think I did one sample page, and I did like a pinup, and actually sold the pinup at like a Acme show a couple years ago to this guy I knew. He's like, that looks cool. I don't know what it is, but it looks cool. So I was like, all right, give me $50. Anyways, you have been, so you mentioned earlier in today's episode that you got a short gig that you did over the break, and I've seen the pages, and you've shown a couple, I posted them to the Patreon. You didn't know that, but the ones you posted online, I downloaded and reposted to the Patreon to kind of show what we've been working on. And I've noticed that the preview stuff you've shown of those Superman pages are a little more loose and cartoony than your more recent work. So the first question for that, I have a couple questions. The first question is, do you feel that Superman himself leans himself to more cartoony, stylistic choices than Batman?
I totally do. Like, every time I've drawn him, I've always meant to sort of go that direction.
But why? Why?
Why? I don't know. For whatever story type you want to tell with that particular character, I think there's an inherent sort of lightheartedness. I mean, it's not a campiness or a cartooniness that you would do with something like Captain Marvel or I'm trying to think of some other weird, like Harley Quinn or something, Deadpool, but I don't know. It's always something I've wanted to do, and I figure, that's probably the place to do it. You know, like I don't know. I just wanted to fucking do it, so I did it.
Yeah, but and once I saw those, and once I typed this question down, I was thinking about it, and it does seem that Superman lends himself to a wider range of styles than Batman does. And I don't know if that's because people expect a certain look out of Batman, and it has to be so heavily shadowed and so heavily rendered and so dark, or is it?
Yeah.
So exactly Superman, because he's a lighter character, quote unquote, can be more cartoony and more sort of open and accessible.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, I want him and his world. I mean, you look at his fucking costume. It's so bright, you know? So I didn't do any cast shadows at all. There's no shadows on any of the figures. I tried to keep my blacks to a minimum. I tried to keep the tones to a minimum. I wanted it to be like, I think it's a great story. It's only 4 pages, but it's perfect to me. It's like, that's my Superman. Like that's the Superman that I want to work on. This is the book that I would want to do. So I wanted it to be very bright, and it's supposed to take place like sort of at like dusk, at twilight. So there's supposed to be like the sunbeams coming in, cutting through the blinds on the window and stuff. So everything's going to be sort of golden and red and that sort of stuff. So I really wanted those colors to smack you in the face.
Yeah, I was gonna make a joke when you said there's not a lot of blacks. I was gonna be like, oh, so it's like Flagstaff, Arizona. Like this story's set in Flagstaff, Arizona.
Right.
But yeah, I did I did have a thing in there. It's very open line, so I'm excited to see the colors because it's a gift for whoever's coloring it. Whoever gets to color that is lucky, because they get to interpret almost everything because there is no cast shadows. They get to determine the light source.
I hope so.
Everything,
you know,
yeah.
I hope so. And I don't know. I in the cartooning stuff, I've been wanting to open myself up to that sort of stuff. I don't know anything about animation and that sort of that arena, that sort of style and shit. But right. I don't know. I watch all of those movies, you know, all the Pixar movies and stuff, and it seems like a better way visually to work in information shortcuts about characters. So, you know, you see a certain physical feature and you have a preconceived notion of what kind of person has that. So, you know.
Yeah, I would love to see. I'm a big fan of I guess I'm a big fan of your early stuff, like your Dracula stuff. I have a couple pages, and there's some really cool cartoony characters on those pages, like the Dracula hunters that came towards the end of your run. Yeah, I mean, so like I see a little bit of that creeping back in with the I guess I don't know if you're comfortable, but the gained knowledge of how to work digitally, how to work for DC and all that. Now that you're reincorporating more cartoonish stuff, I think it's great because I think one of your biggest strengths is cartooning, and I think you got away from that maybe for a little bit, and maybe because you were working for DC and you were worried they wanted a certain thing, or you just got away from it because you went more reference heavy. I'm not quite sure.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, with DC, I started out doing two Vertigo series, and
right.
While the second one, Lost Boys probably would have lent itself to something like that, there were likeness issues, and you can't really do whatever you want there.
Right. Yeah. You got to have the Frog Brothers looking like the Frog Brothers.
Right.
Corey Feldman's an asshole, I hear, when it comes to likeness. Make you redraw that shit.
It looks too much like me. Change it.
Okay, so it was a deliberate choice. When you got these 4 pages, you saw it as an opportunity to try something a little different, or not different, but push it a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't go crazy. It's not like
No, you didn't. You're not drawing it like Cheeks or somebody like that. It's
right,
still you.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. I figured why not. It's 4 pages. It seems like a fine place to do it. And so I just did it. Nobody said anything. I probably couldn't have done stuff like that on the detective books, but there was not really an opportunity to either. So
yeah, I get it.
Yeah, but thanks, man. Thanks for
it looks great. I'm excited for the writer that you're working with who wrote it. I don't know how long ago he wrote it, or I don't know what the deal is, but it's exciting. I don't know when I'll ever see it because those 100-page giants are hard to find. I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah, I don't know if it's going in one of those. I would think not. I think this is an LCS just special kind of thing.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know. I know that I've been looking for that Flash thing you did, and I can't find it. I don't know when it's coming out. I don't know what issue it's in. I don't know anything.
I haven't heard anything. I haven't even heard if it's going to print yet. But track those down anyway, because Clayton Henry's doing the original material for those Flash books. He's fucking awesome.
Yeah, you're doing the work of your career, and you can't find it anywhere. Cool. All right. Anything else you want to talk about that project? Your little 4-pager there? Not that you wanted to talk about it in the first place.
No. I just thought about those 100-page specials, though. Those are Walmart exclusives.
Not anymore.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Comic shops can order them now.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, I don't know. It's funny to think about, like, that'll probably be my the widest circulation of anything I've ever done.
Right.
I mean, because how many fucking Walmarts are there, you know? Even if all of them just ordered one. And I'm thinking about moms, like, yelling at their kids.
Right. This will shut them up.
Don't touch! Don't touch!
Yeah, I bet a lot of those Walmart 100 pages are bought to shut a child up on a drive home or something like that.
Yeah, they're definitely road trip material.
I just saw, I didn't read the article, but I saw an article that Target is going to have an exclusive Batman anthology. Like, I don't know if it's a 100-page giant or something like that. So,
I think those are good deals.
Oh, yeah, they're good. I mean, you're going to pay more at Target than a Walmart because...
That's true. It's going to be $7 instead of $5.
Yeah, but they're still good deals. $5 for 100 pages, even if a lot of them are reprints. If you're not like a snobby continuity guy, it's great to give to kids. It totally is. I gave comics to... I had to buy gifts for, I think, 4 total children under the age of like 12 this Christmas. Nieces and nephews, friends of the family, that sort of thing. And I decided, fuck it, I'm getting them all comics or books. Like no makeup, no whatever. That's not true. I got the 3-year-old a toy, but the other kids all
I got the 3-year-old makeup.
Yeah. Halter tops. So I got them all comics, and all of them were the look of disappointment on their face when they opened and it was a graphic novel or a book was stupendous. So shout out to those kids for being real. Although one girl who's like, "What is this?" I think she's like maybe 11. She's open and she's like, I don't know what this is. I got our Lumberjanes comic because Corey at Cab Comics said preteen girls like Lumberjanes. So she's like, "What is this?" And then my wife was sitting next to her and she's like, "Oh, it's a comic. Ryan thought everyone would like some comics." And then Michelle just looked at me and like shook her head. But I did notice when like about 10 minutes later when an adult was unwrapping their gifts, I looked over and that little girl was reading the comic. She wasn't like looking at her clothes that she had gotten or whatever. She was reading the comic. So score 1 from me.
Yeah, I guess. It's funny. It's like, what if Dad works in a sock factory? Like, I wonder what I'm getting this year.
I used to have, I guess she's dead. I used to have my grandpa and my great-grandma used to live in this house in Union, South Carolina, and right behind them was a sock factory. And when I was a little kid, every year for Christmas, I would get like 40 pairs of socks. Because they would just get them at like wholesale.
Just throw them over the fence.
Yeah, right. I mean, literally, if you walked out, if you were smoking a cigarette on your break and you had a bag of socks and you could just throw them over the fence and it would be in my family's backyard. Shout out to Union, South Carolina. All right, I got another note on here, but I don't know how well this is going to work out. But again, you leaning into the cartooning on the Superman gig. When I started doing this self-published manga style book that I'm doing, I keep getting caught up in like old habits. Like I had to create this. I had to create this this machine. I'm calling it the Reaper, where this island that's already decimated, the bad guy has these machines where it just collects every mineral and everything worthwhile and just ravages the countryside. And so like I combined a bunch of models in SketchUp. I did all this thing to make it look like a street sweeper mixed with a whatever. And then I'm realizing, like, why am I stuck in that it has to look like something we know? Why can't it be like a giant spider or a giant whatever?
Uh-huh.
And so I guess I was hoping you could give me some advice or ideas because I want it to be weird, right? Because I was at the library.
Okay.
I was at the library, and I talked a couple of weeks ago about Umbrella Academy, the Dallas, Series 2 of Umbrella Academy Dallas. They had it there. So I checked it out because it's easier than finding my copy in a long box somewhere. And like 2 pages into it, I'm like, there's some cool, weird shit happening. How do I get my head into that weird shit mindset of, it doesn't have to look like this. It can look like this. It doesn't have to be real. It can be this. Because that's fun. Like, if I can create a mechanism that is like a robot that doesn't look exactly the same panel to panel, that's going to be more fun to draw than using a model. But I keep going back. I keep relying on these old habits. Like
Let's do this in real time then.
Yeah, if I lay down a line and it's too sketchy, I fix it. And I'm like, why? It's my book. And I like guys who do sketchy art. Like, I like a comic that looks a little sketchy. Why am I so afraid of having my comic look like that?
Okay.
Scott?
Yeah. Okay. No, let's do this.
Yeah.
Let's do this right now. Okay.
So
it's a robot. Yeah.
So it
doesn't have a driver or anything or operator.
I thought about that, but I think it's going to be more drone based.
Okay.
But it might have. So basically, my character, as seen in the preview image, has like a motorcycle. But in this
right.
post whatever world, you can't just like get gas.
Post what?
Stuff. It's like, I would say
post modern day,
like post apocalyptic, but kind of like set modern. Like maybe the apocalypse happened in like the 80s or the 60s.
Okay.
So not like future, kind of like Mad Max-ish kind of world. So my main character has to get a battery. So everything's not, so that he needs like a battery pack, and it could be whatever. It could be like a cell battery, like in a Prius, or it could be whatever. It doesn't really matter what it is. It's a thing that he can mount to his motorcycle to power his motorcycle. Mm-hmm. And the only people that have this technology are the bad guys who run the island, like the warlords. So he's going to try to steal it out of this machine. So that's the whole opening scene, is him fighting against a giant machine, and he's not trying to defeat the machine. He's trying to get close enough to steal its power source.
Okay. All right. So
and the machine, the machine is harvesting, but it also just destroys everything as it harvests. Like, it doesn't give a shit.
Okay. What is it collecting?
Just whatever the fuck's in the ground that can be used for.
Okay.
Minerals, things that you can make. I don't know. What do they collect minerals? What do they make batteries out of? Precious, like rare metals, earth metals,
acids,
rare earth metals.
You need ore for like.
Well, there's the thing in all the cell
shit.
phones, lithium batteries. They're made with some sort of metal or something, aren't they?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So it needs to be able to dig into the ground.
Yeah.
It needs to have somewhere to put the things it's collected.
Correct.
How big are you envisioning this thing?
Maybe the size, maybe like 15 to 20 feet tall, and maybe maybe like a, maybe like maybe not even that big. Let's say like an excursion on its stood up, like a Ford Excursion or a Lincoln Navigator vertical.
All right.
2 to 3 times as big as a human.
Okay, and it's post-apocalyptic, so I am assuming there's like shit all over the place. There's like rubble and like
because
destroyed cars.
I don't want to draw real shit, so it's going to be a lot of rubble and forest and.
Okay, so it needs to be able to move around freely.
Right.
All right.
But the idea is that it's also a bully. It doesn't have to dodge trees in its way. It just knocks them down. If there's a boulder, and if there's
so we want it to be kind of tanky and
right. So if there's a wall in its way, it just goes right through it. It doesn't
looking like it could do something like that. Are there any like cool animals you like?
That's something
that have
I thought
interesting
about.
Shapes that you think of.
Yeah. Well, insects are always a good way to go because they have armor
and
they crawl.
Right.
So it could go spider-ish. It could go.
If you do spider, then you've got you can walk around. You've got
I wouldn't go
claws and shit to dig. You got the big
go,
back end to dump shit in.
I wouldn't go.
But
8
everybody
legs,
does spiders.
Yeah, I'd go 4 legs, but maybe like 4 spider legs.
Right.
Like spindle style legs, where the whole of the thing is off the ground and it just walks on the 4 things, but not as dorky as like an AT-AT, like something that looks like it could do shit.
Yeah, you don't. I'm thinking you don't want a lot of rigid straight lines.
No, almost like. And then I also, everything in this book that I'm doing, I want it to look like everything has to be repaired nonstop. So it should have like metal plates that don't line up and that hang off. Like shit's just welded on where other shit broke off, right?
Gotcha.
So yeah, so I don't know, like maybe like something looks like a crab where there's like a wheel in the back but then claws in the front that walks on. You know, like that.
That's interesting.
Like
Sure.
that thing in Toy Story. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, it could have legs it walks around on, but the shit that digs could just be like in the center, so it stands over a spot, and it could have, like it could even have like mechanical tendrils or something that pick things up,
or like vacuum hoses, or like a shovel belly or something. Shovel belly sounds cool.
Shovel belly.
Yeah. Sounds like a band I'm not cool enough to have ever listened to their early stuff, and now they sold out.
That was my nickname in high school.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just it's just I can't get myself into this mindset of it doesn't have to be it can be weird and be cool. Like I can't get my head out of this mindset. I can't get back to cartooning. And I don't know why, because my style is cartoonish, but I feel like has to be so reality based. And maybe it's because the audience for this, a lot of them know me. They don't follow comics. They just bought it to support the project. So I almost feel like I had to play to an audience that doesn't read comics. But if I want to have fun with it, I should use almost no models.
Right.
And just
I
weird.
agree. Yeah. So if you're going to use not models and you're going to freehand it all the time, you don't want a lot of right angles and boxiness.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting because it goes back to when I was a kid and read comics. I never looked at, like, say there was like a tank in a page of comics. I never looked back through the 7 panels or whatever to make sure the tank was on model, all 7 panels. Like, you just don't think about it. You just, in your head, it's a tank. So it's a tank.
Right.
But I think with the movies and shit like that everything has become so realistic now in comics that I feel like everything has to be so on model every time. And it doesn't. Like, it can be silly, and it can be... It can change from panel to panel, and it's still recognizable as to what it is. Uh-oh. You got a ghost?
No, I've got this this poster above my desk that's a bunch of different dinosaurs and shit.
Oh.
So just kind of looking around.
Yeah.
So, like personality wise, do you want it to have a face of some sort? Do you want to be able to see something, or is it just a...
No, I want it.
thing?
It's going to be a thing, and it's going to be such a rudimentary thing. That's why it just runs through shit rather than goes around it. It's sort of like it's got a homing beacon, point A to point B. Send it out, it comes straight back the closest way. It's not even like a smart drone where it tries to avoid anything. It just runs through everything in its path. So it almost could have just like a little bubble on top that would be the antenna. Like, it doesn't have to be... Like, the belly should be what collects everything, but since there's no pilot or anything, it just needs like an antenna.
I mean, you could just have like just a single wheel or something. It's got like tank treads instead of tire treads or something, and like shit comes out from the side of it.
Yeah,
it could be pushed over or whatever. What are other cool shapes? I don't know. What does your hand naturally do when you just fuck around and draw a line? Do you draw a straight line? Do you draw like a lightning bolt? What do you do?
Like when I sketch, I guess my sketches are...
Yeah, I mean, like...
more
I
angular.
have specific things I do, like in the margins of notes and shit. There's always...
Yeah, I sketch very angularly.
Okay.
But I don't... But nothing ever works. That's kind of how I see this being. It's kind of like... no smooth curves, because that technology would be hard to come by to make smooth, rounded metal. So a lot of like janky, like if there's going to be something rounded, it's going to be rounded with like 10 pieces of straight, does that make sense?
Right.
10 pieces of like plated metal or something like that.
Yeah.
So maybe like
it could have one arm that does a bunch of shit. It's got this suction tube, but on the end it's got like, a gnarly looking drill bit and like what are the things? The welding thing. And,
yeah. I wish people could see you. Yeah.
Something that looks scary,
Yeah. I guess the bigger thing is we got hung up on this one thing, but I guess the bigger thing
Yeah,
is
I like this.
how to stay into a mindset when you're working on that. Like how to draw something and be like, oh, it looks fine, it tells the story, but I'm going to go back and redo it. Like I get it because it's not exactly what I wanted.
Right.
I need to learn. I need to be
this
more
is sort of a
comfortable.
different thing. I mean,
Yeah.
When you're talking about like you leaning into more of the manga sort of stuff, and
Yeah, not
me
the
trying to
characters
work in
and
more
shit.
cartooning and that
Not
sort of
the-
stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was hard. I mean,
Yeah.
you don't pay attention and you just fall back into what your hand just knows how
Right.
to do. Yeah, so
Yeah.
you got to stop and yeah, I have like 4 or 5 layers of pencils on all these pages.
Yeah, it's almost like retraining yourself to draw how you used to draw when you were starting out, but then polish it
Yeah.
at the end.
Yeah, I actually watched one YouTube video where this dude was just drawing heads in a way that I've never, like he was building them from the ground up, just with shapes in a way that I had never thought of. So I just tried it. Like I just sat down and tried it, and I liked the way it turned out, so I kept doing that. Yeah, he was going over the top of character models from Into the Spider-Verse and sort of reverse engineering them.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, I was just looking at my Art of Into the Spider-Verse book last night, and I was like,
Yeah.
God, I wish I had the confidence to sketch like this and then just say it's done. Like I don't have to go in and tighten anything up, and I don't have to go in and make that line perfect because it's already fantastic. Like it's
Yeah, I wish my brain worked that way.
yeah. Stupid brains. Just like shut it off and watch Star Wars.
Yeah, I mean, it's all about vision, and it sounds like a really sort of vague idea, but I think it's a loaded word.
Yeah.
It's being able to know what you want and being able to execute what you want in the way that you want to do it.
Right.
And I think a lot of us have there's not a great relationship between your hand and your imagination.
Well, not past the age of like 26.
Yeah, during business hours, I mean.
Right. Okay, yeah.
And so, yeah, you have an idea of something, but I think a lot of the time your style ends up being what you settled for.
Yeah. Or it's almost like when you're sketching, like when you're laying out a page or sketching, that's all you. No one's going to see that, so you can do what you want with it. And then when it comes time to ink it or finish the pencils, then you get worried, like, what is the editor going to think, or what's the writer going to think? And so then you tighten it up, and that's why, like, if you look at like really good comic artists, their layouts and their sketches are amazing, and then it just gets like the widest audience possible on a sketch, and then you whittle it down to try to fit what you think it should look like for the audience who's going to read the book, or the editor, or the writer, and that's not really what you intended. At the end, like I'll do a sketch and I'll be like, oh, it's never going to look this good. Like anything else I do past this stage, it's never going to look this good.
Yeah. I envy guys who don't lose anything from their pencils to their inks. It's not an easy thing to do. And I don't know why it happens. It's still such a mystery to me why it looks so much different.
Well,
why it feels so much different.
Yeah, I think it's because it's the thought, even working digitally, it's the thought that pencils and sketches are temporary, and the final page you turn in is so permanent that you're just worried about it's putting a line down that you can't change. I'm the most anxious person
on the planet, and I've never had that thought.
No, I don't really think about it consciously, but I think I do think about like who's going to look at this page, what will the reader think about this page, rather than just be like, this is what I want. This is what I'm doing, and I want the reader to know what I'm doing. I want them to understand what I'm doing. I think, oh no, this is what they're probably expecting, so let me try to cater to this. But anyways,
yeah, I've never thought about that.
got to try to figure out a way to get back to earlier cartooning and sketching stuff, but polishing it off without making it boring. That's what I got to think to do, because sometimes my artwork I think is boring.
Oh yeah, I think
and that's the worst.
Boring too.
It's the worst thing it can be is boring. But what are you gonna do?
Yeah. I see that a lot in my stuff. I get really upset. Like, it's again, you go in with the intention of one thing, but then I don't know. I'm thinking more often than not, it's probably just a side effect of being lazy. It just happens that I revert back to this. It's a simple background. It's just a dude, standing there. He's the focal point of this panel. You know, it's not even a medium range shot. It's going to be a close up, but we see his whole head or whatever. And
right.
So I'm just going to put this background in there. So I just do 1 point perspective, and it's boring. It's just boring. I'm disappointed with it. Nobody's going to care.
No one's going to care.
But I care.
Yeah, it's...
And I'm ashamed.
Well, it's
anyway.
It's got to be... There's a lot of things we do that we're ashamed of and we continue to do. It's but I think it's definitely a thing that creative people have to deal with. Like the lucky dude who just works at like a loading dock at like Lowe's. He doesn't get to work every day thinking like, man, I want to stack that a certain way today, and it's gonna be like the best stack job ever. And then at the end of the day, it's a regular stack job, and he's bummed because if it fits, it ships. That's what they say. Like, just get it in there, do your job, clock out, get your paycheck. Man, what a wonderful life that would be. Like. All right, let's wrap it up. But I think that's a good topic that maybe deserves some more discussion later on down the line about freeing your creative self, but still being commercial. That's different. If I wanted to make shitty ceramics all day, I'm sure I'd be so happy making some bowls. But you also got to pay bills. Like, there's a difference between being your artistic free self.
I feel like we could have a book on Good Morning Arizona. We could be on TV at like 4:45 in the morning telling everybody about how to unleash your creative self.
Yeah. First thing you need to do is have very rich spouses and then be as free as you want. Make that vase nobody fucking wants.
That's right. Just follow your passions.
Yeah. You know, if you do what you love, you never work a day in your life.
That's right.
Yep.
It's just a big book of cliches.
Yeah. Yeah. Do your best. Your best is good enough. That's what I'm going to tell them. Yeah, that's what I should pay my rent with next month. Hey, look, I did my best.
I did my best.
All month I did my best. My best is good enough. And then just walk out. I feel like I would get evicted. That's right. And then when I got evicted, I'd go into the office. Oh, I'm sorry. You must not have been here when I said I did my best all month. So you can just take this eviction notice back because I'm really trying hard. All right. How was your Midas touch? Was it Midas touch? Midas?
Oh. Yeah, no, you're right.
Yeah.
Midas touch.
Midas
Ancient
touch.
Ale. I'm still working on it.
Does it feel like you're drinking something that's 1,300 years old?
Okay. What does it say? 27-year-old ingredients. Barley, honey, white muscat grapes, and saffron. I don't know what saffron is. I'm not a cooking guy. I don't know. It's a spice, maybe? Yeah?
I think it's a spice, like a flour-based spice, maybe? I don't know.
Sure. So when I began this journey, I didn't mind it. The first couple of sips were like really honey forward, like almost straight honey. Now I don't know what I'm getting. I don't know what this is. It says it's somewhere between wine and mead.
Well, have you had mead?
It doesn't have that weird aftertaste in wine that I don't care for. I don't know what to call that. No, I don't think I've ever had mead.
My wife and I, there's a couple of meaderies in northern Arizona.
Yeah.
And we've gone to them and got like the tasters, and to me, mead just tastes like a sweeter wine. But
Okay.
my wife tells me I'm crazy. She's like, doesn't taste like wine, but I'm like, kind of tastes like wine. So I think it's just wine that's fermented with honey instead of grapes.
Okay.
Or alcohol. Yeah.
You know what? Yeah, I'll agree with that. This sort of walks in the wine sort of palate place, but like I said, wine's got this thing that happens on the back end that I don't care for, but this doesn't have it. So
Anger.
I guess it's yeah. This is sadness free.
Oh, well, that's a plus.
Yeah, it's fine. I don't know if it's going to change by the time I get to the bottom of this, but right now I think I'm going to throw out a 3.
Well, if you like,
I'm going to play it safe with that.
We could podcast for another hour while you finish it. Put a nipple on it. All right.
Put my pinky up.
All right. So I had the Casa Agria Specialty Ales slamming at the club. Clean cut American lager. There is some truth to the corn flavoring to this. It's very weird because it doesn't taste like a bud or anything like that. Almost tastes, now that it's warm, it almost tastes more like a PBR or more like a...
Oh.
And I like PBR. I mean, I don't love it, but it's fine. So this is fine as well. I don't normally drink lagers anymore because if I'm going to drink a lager, I'll just get an American lager that's mass produced. And I mean,
Right.
one thing you could say about like Budweiser and Coors and shit like that is it's what it is. It's what you expect when you're drinking a lager, an American lager.
It is what it is.
So they've really dialed in the flavor profile after a couple hundred years. But this was fine. I mean, like, if I was at a party and this is what they had, I would be drinking these all day. They're crushable, 4.5%, no big deal. But yeah, it didn't do anything for me. I don't know any of these bands. I'm sure they're good. Maybe I'll research them.
Good enough to be on a can of beer.
Find out what the Hyman Blasters are all about, or Crazy D and the
God.
Nuts.
Yeah.
Fist Fight on Ecstasy. I wonder what they sound like. Maybe I'll find out later tonight. I'm going to give it also, I'll give mine a 3. It's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. It's fine. It's good. 3. So shout out to Anthony and my brother for the long road this beer took from Oxnard to Flagstaff. I feel uncomfortable saying Oxnard. It sounds like a word I'm not supposed to say.
There are a lot of uncomfortable bits of this episode.
Like I should just call it the O word, because. Okay, Scott, you know what to do, my friend. It's time to say what you say at the end of the episodes.
I'm going to say it.
Don't spray it.
Yeah. Goodbye, Scott.
Goodbye, Scott. Goodbye. TakeShow.com.
For the tender hearted, she prefers to do color.